Hey everyone, welcome back to the automation series. In the last video, we explored the basics of automation, that is, what automation means, why it's needed, and how it helps in reducing manual work. Now, in this video, we are going to step into one of the most important parts of automation. Its two main notions, and they are APIs and webhooks. And we will understand how systems actually talk to each other behind the scene. So, here in this video, we are going to discuss about what is an API, its definition and its components, and what is the meaning of webhooks. So, what is an API? Let's start with the term API, which stands for Application Programming Interface. In simple word, it's like a messenger that helps two different software systems communicate with each other. To make it easy to understand, let's take a restaurant example. So here, how do you get food? So whenever you go into the restaurant, you ask the waiter for the food. He will go into the kitchen by taking your order, and he will come back with the response that he will bring your ordered food or meal. So here we will understand what is the actual definition of uh, API. So here, an API, application programming interface, exposes a service. Developers write programs to consume it. So when we say API exposes service, it means that API offers certain features or data that other programs can use, and developers or programmers create software that asks the API for that data or feature and uses it in their app. So let's understand in a technical term. So basically, here when you give orders, so in between there is a channel. Here in our example, it was a waiter, but in technical term, it is a interface, and it goes to the application. Here, our application was kitchen. So basically, interface generally takes your response and request, and basically the interface that take your request to the application and bring back a response for your query. So so why we use API? Because without an API, your program would need to know how other program works internally, which is hard and messy. And with the help of API, you just follow simple instructions. So that is the documentation to get what you need. So you don't need to care about the inner workings. The API handles it for you. In our example, we use the menu that act as our documentation. That is our guide. So we can get the idea of how an API actually works. So now we will move further and we will going to understand what the technical terms of the API. So here, when I say the client, so client is basically the user which send a request to the interface or the server. So here our interface and applications are the server which accept the request and bring back the response. So, and now we are going to understand what are the concept of request. So there are majorly four components to an HTTP request. So these are URL, method, header, and body. So we will going to understand them very deeply. So first of all, URL, so uniform resource locator. It is the unique location for resource on the web, like for page, image, PDF, etc. So here in this example, https colon slash slash, as we see that here we have created a separate part so we can understand it easily. So here first part is the scheme. So it tells the browser which protocol to use. Usually http or https are the most utilized. So then www.google.com, This is the host or domain name. It points to the server where the resource lives. Then .443, this is the port. Then this is the optional part. And if it is not mentioned, then the browser uses the default ports like 80 for HTTP or 443 for HTTPS. Then comes our slash search. This is the path, or we can say endpoint. It points to a specific resource on the server. Then comes our the last part, and that is the query parameters. They pass additional information to the server, like what to search for in this case. So every URL has these parts that together tell your browser exactly where to go and what to request. Then second is method. So method defines what you want to do. So there are basically, it's for part get, which retrieve your data, post, which sends your data, put or patch, which update or modify your data, delete, that remove your data. For example, we use post to send data to an API endpoint. Then it comes header. Header contains key value pairs which send to the server with the request. So basically header contains extra information like content type or authentication. So then here come our body and the final part, credentials. So body is the actual data you send. Mostly we send into the post or put. So basically, for example, my name, that is Darshan, and my email, that is darshan at the rate example.com. So it basically work in that way. And finally, this is our credentials. So credentials stores secure authentication details that in our case in n8n. So here there are it's certain types like API key, basic AUTH, that is basic auth, OAuth to 2, etc. These are some its type, and it's prevent generally hard coding sensitive information in workflows. For example, we connecting to Slack or Jira API securely, because in n8n, so in order to create some workflows, we need to connect our Slack to use the Slack bot or Jira. So this API key and basic auth and OAuth2, these credentials help to secure our data and other information like ID and all. Then it comes our next part, that is components of a response. After sending a request, the server processes it and sends back as a response with three main parts. First is status code, header, and body. First of all, we will understand what is status code. So it indicates the result of the request, that is whether it is has succeeded or failed. For example, if it showed 200, then it's success, 400, then it's a bad request, 401, that we sometimes see in our mobile phone, or when we you open any website, 401, so it means that it's an unauthorized website or the request. Then 500, it simply means that it is a server's error. Then it comes header. So header includes information like content type or server name and server info. So and the final thing is body, the actual data returned from server. Usually it is in a JSON format. Here we can see an example. Then we will see what is the webhook. Generally it is the inverse of API, like vice versa. So uh, in well, let's see its definition. So webhook is a way for one application to send real-time data to another when an event occurs. So simply a webhook is a way, uh, um, it's an event, basically webhook is a event based function, which means that you don't have to request data, it pushed you to do instantly. think of it like in API you ask for updates, that's called pulling. In webhooks, data comes to you automatically when an event occurs, that is the pushing. Let's take a real world example. That imagine you have created a Google form. Every time you someone submits the form, a webhook sends that data immediately to n8n, and n8n can then automatically save it to a database or send a message on Slack. And all these things happen without any manual function. So basically API, you request data, and webhook data is sent automatically to you. Okay, so let's see how API and webhooks power automation works. So basically I will show you what is the webhook and how it looks. Here we will type for webhook, and we will click on this, and here it generate its this panel. So here we can see test URL, that is our URL, and this is basically my URL. So here we can see our all the request and response will generate. So in this format, our request will be go, and it comes back with another help of the another application like Slack, so it generates the response. So it is the way these things actually work. So thank you for the video. In next video we will see how to create n8n account, which is the most important, and I think the first step for the practical approach. And also we will see what is a node. Thank you.
If you have any question or any doubt, feel free to ask in the comment section below. I will answer you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye and have a nice day.